Good evening again. Sometime in the future, I predict the Portland Center Stage will have an Occupy presentation at a theater near you. I just think oftentimes that life imitates art, art imitates life, certainly. Arts and culture certainly are a reflection of our society, and if you don't mind, I just have a few things I would like to say. It's a special occasion. The performing arts, fine arts, musical composition all tell a story, and sometimes it is our story. Our lives would be terribly boring if we had no outlet, no expression, no way of sharing, and no reflection. The Signature Suites allow us to share our community's story and love of the arts with the thousands of visitors that walk through our doors each year. If one of our guests takes just a bit of our love of the suites and the arts back home to their community, we have done our job. So a couple people have asked me why we are here tonight. Well, first off, we have fantastic owners. And that is the key. That we have a family that owns our hotel, and they understand they understand the Heathman, and they connect the dots well. Besides the fact that our owners have a deep affection for the Heathman Hotel and its 90-year legacy, they also understand that as great as the Heathman is, it is only one very small piece of the puzzle. There is a reason why Portland was recently selected as one of the top 5 places to live in the world, and the New York Times calls us the capital of West Coast urban cool. Yes. More Travel Portland quotes here. Where's Mr. Miller? As Travel Portland puts it, amazing things happen daily in Portland. Creative things, outlandish things, beautiful things. The city's decidedly unstuffy arts and culture scene melds classical institutions with innovative new venues. And again, I'm here to tell you, the Heathman gets it. We understand the responsibility. The second reason why we're here tonight is Andy Warhol, of all things. So all roads lead to art. Where's Elizabeth Leach? She'll be happy to hear about that. So Elizabeth Leach has been behind-the-scenes forces of our current art collection, and Andy Warhol's Endangered Species collection was an early acquisition. Shown in museums and sold for fundraising events, this series of 10 silkscreen images of critically endangered animals showcases not only Warhol's concern for nature, but also his dramatic use of line and color. While Warhol is best known for his contribution to pop art, his interest in nature was lifelong. A decade ago, the Heathman Hotel celebrated its affinity for the arts, and in particular this collection, by rolling out our famous Andy Warhol suite, and you'll see that tonight. But we thought it was high time that Andy Warhol shared the stage. We thought that Andy Warhol has had enough of his 15 minutes of fame, and the spotlight should be placed on the arts organizations here in our community. So that is why we're here tonight, and that is kind of the fruition of the Signature Suites. So a little roundup here. For over 100 years, the Oregon Symphony, the oldest symphony, or maybe the most seasoned symphony in the western United States, has resided right here in Portland, Oregon. And I think, by my estimation, they have served or entertained over 10 million people over the last 100 years. Music director Carlos Calmar and the orchestra now boast a growing national reputation sparked by the recent Carnegie Hall debut, which was described by the New Yorker as one of the most gripping concerts of the current season, which is, let's give that up too. I think it's definitely safe to say the Oregon Symphony is poised for another 100 years. So then, yes. I think we have a check tonight to help you out. Sorry. The literary arts of Oregon, and specifically the Portland Arts and Lecture Series, have been challenging audiences and telling their story, our story, since 1984. For the last 30 years, Portland Arts and Lecture Series have brought leading authors, historians, critics to our community to discuss their work and the trajectory of contemporary culture. Portland Arts and Lectures connects readers and writers of all ages in a spirit of intellectual curiosity, engagements with events, classroom visits, and forums. They do a great job. Portland Center Stage was also another natural selection. Portland Center Stage is now in their 25th year. Led by artistic director Chris Coleman, Portland Center Stage produces a blend of classical, contemporary, and premier works and one of the hippest venues I've ever seen. PCS has over 10,000 subscribers and attracts nearly 150,000 theater goers each season. Portland Center Stage is one of the 25 largest regional theater companies in the United States And PCS offers a variety of outreach programs for curious minds, including discussions, classes, workshops, partnerships throughout the Portland metro area. Their commitment to the arts is definitely one of the reasons why I love Portland and why I live here. I love Portland Center Stage. And let's get to Elizabeth Leach. This is not a roast, or should guess. So Elizabeth Leach Gallery was launched in 1981, and if I get anything wrong here, just let me know, with a focus on presenting prominent Northwest and internationally established artists working in a wide variety of contemporary media. Having just celebrated 30 years in Portland, Elizabeth and her team have successfully bolstered a dynamic dialogue between the local community and the global art world. Almost all of the art, I would say 95%, maybe 99%, almost all of the art in the Heathman Hotel's collection has been personally selected over the last decades by Elizabeth Leach. And tonight, as you, which is great. And tonight, as you enter the Fine Arts Suite this evening, you'll be illuminated by a phenomenal light installation by Portland-born HAP TV. This unique and abstract piece paints the room with color. It is outstanding. It's unbelievable. A sensational relief painting in the dining room by local artist Joe Thurston will also engage you. Artist Joe Thurston's alteration is stunning and leaves one questioning the basis of creative inspiration and execution. It's one of my favorites. Believe it or not, before Gus Van Sant was a famous director, he was also a painter, I think a struggling artist, if I'm not mistaken. But we do have the works by filmmaker Gus Van Sant are fun and exuberant and bring some lightheartedness into the space as well. And above the bed, one of my personal favorites, which I selected, is Mesmerized by local artist Tim Chalina. So that's nice. And at any rate, Elizabeth Leach is very close with Pacific Northwest College of Art and immediately suggested the PNCA as the beneficiary of a portion of the guest room revenues. PNCA, incidentally, recently celebrated its 100th anniversary. That is amazing. And has a partnership with nationally acclaimed Museum of Contemporary Craft. And we are so pleased to support PNCA. So, we asked locally owned Blue Vine Studio to capture all of this creativity and somehow share it in a format with our guests. This was an impossible task. You have a type A general manager that wakes up at 4:50 a.m. and loads everyone inbox with email. You have a historic hotel built in 1927. You have 4 well-respected nonprofits with a collective legacy of about 300 years. You have a passionate lover of art, Elizabeth Leach, 1 asset manager, and oh, by the way, the rooms must be guest-friendly, over the top, but not too over the top, first class, but on budget and on time.
There you go.
Yeah, so who would want that job? It's ridiculous. Kat's somewhere around here. Kat James is in the back there, Blue Vine Studio. Principal owner Kat James was given an impossible task, that's for sure, and we could not be more pleased with the end result. Blue Vine Studio poured their heart into each room. Each piece, artifact, and material were thoughtfully purchased or reproduced. As an example, the wood surfaces in the Literary Arts Suite and the Organ Symphony Suite are by Maya Romanoff. They meet all LEED standards and zero VOC content, which is very Portlandia. They are environmentally, formaldehyde-free and contain no heavy metals. But one of the most important things is, along with Maya Romanoff's environmental standards, they also contribute specifically to Aid to Artisans, a nonprofit organization which offers practical assistance to artisan groups in developing nations. And as I said, every piece was thoughtfully chosen. One of my favorite pieces, though, is the cello in the Organ Symphony Suite. It is definitely amazing. It was designed, rebuilt, and transformed into a masterpiece. And tonight, when you walk through the Organ Symphony room, I think you'll all enjoy it. I really do. So quickly, we're going to be having some tours very soon, and our sales team is right outside and in this room, I think, as well. But before we do that, I wanted to kind of kick this off. I wanted members, or a few folks from PNCA, maybe Elizabeth Leach, maybe a member from Organ Symphony or two, Literary Arts, maybe a member, to come on up and receive the first portion of the shared guest room revenues. We're going to be giving them each a check for $1,000 tonight, and of course, Portland Center Stage.
I knew there was a reason to show up.
Chris! If you hadn't, we would have ripped it into 3.
Organ Symphony, there we go.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Coleman. Good to see you again.
Literary arts? All right.
Great.
Thank you.
Sure, that's fine.
I want to thank the Heathman Hotel for all the support for the arts. It's so critical, and I hope CAN will pass, because that'll help. But in the meantime, that private and public partnership, it's really critical. So thank you, Chris, and the Heathman, and everybody.